When we die earliest of breast cancer. When we get diagnosed later. We have more aggressive forms, and we die younger from it. When it comes to heart disease, we have higher rates. When it comes to diabetes, we have higher rates. When it comes to obesity and unhealthy weight, we have higher rates. Stroke, the same way. So all of the same situation. So all of these chronic diseases, the top reasons that Americans die, they're exacerbated in African American communities, and particularly for Black women. And there are a variety of reasons for that. I mean, we're the most oppressed, impoverished, as a community as a whole. And so this system, this society, for the affluent, they get the healthiest food, the best schools, across the board, things are better and set up for the affluent. The poorer you are, the more oppressed you are, the less you have of these resources, and food is a part of that.
I believe in order for us to help people change, we have to be a part of the people. So like I go to restaurants that aren't vegan. I don't like it necessarily, but I'll go. And I'll go to events that are vegan, but I'm right there because I know in order to help people change, you have to be involved with them. You have to go where they are. Instead of waiting on them to come to us, we have to go where they are and not condemn them. Because, I honestly only know 3 people that have been vegan since birth, and 2 of them are kids. So like,
I think food is a fundamental right. And at any point where people don't have the right or access to healthy food, that's where food and social justice for me intersect. And I think it happened when companies began to take over what the earth gave us for free. And I think that's when food became a social justice issue, because it was no longer families growing food in their yard or raising their own animals. It was, I have to go to the market to pay someone for access. And that's where it became a social justice issue.
I lived in Seattle for a while, and then around that time I went to an animal rights convergence in Norway. And this was like 2009 or so. And it was just like consistently, it was just like they were like hyper white spaces. And if anything, there were just like very few like people of color like in attendance. And I remember like one of the most like glaring examples of like this like idea of like getting a pass because you're vegan and you happen to be white. I went to see the screening of the film Bold Native, and like there were 2 directors, and they were both white. The guy, of course, like he straight up said, like, because he's like vegan now, like racism and sexism are kind of like a thing of the past, because he like adopted like a compassionate lifestyle, like for the sake of animals. And it was just so offensive and just so naive. And I had to like address that. It was during the Q&A when he was talking about this. And I let him know like how like flawed that idea is.
So these communities are what we call sub shops, right? Sub shops, you can in Baltimore get a chicken box. And for those listeners who are not familiar with a chicken box is just chicken wings and fries that you can go. Chicken spots and lake trout spots, Chinese food, that is largely what you'll see in communities. So that's how one way that food apartheid shows up. And it's not just the presence of those foods, but it's also the other layer that it's not owned by the people there. They are extracting wealth and then going to other counties and building their communities and using that same money to send their children to college.